Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the clown car is getting even larger and a little bit too large because Chris Christie is entering the 2024 race for president, but so is Mike Pence. Mike Pence and Chris Christie both filing paperwork to join the crowded 2024 Republican primary field. And we know that Donald Trump is the front runner right now, and he is probably very, very likely at this point to be the nominee. We saw Ron DeSantis jump in the race, and he didn't really see a major announcement bump. So the next thing that his camp is talking about is let's wait for the debates. And the debates will happen. I think the first debate's going to be in August. But the problem is that in terms of DeSantis, is he really going to be able to shine when there's so many people on that debate stage? And now you have Mike Pence entering the race. You already have people like Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, and there's plenty of other people that are in the crowded 2024 field. And now Mike Pence, the former VP who fell out of favor with Donald Trump's base after the incident in January of 2021. And ever since then, really, people are mad at him because he cares more about defending democracy and attacking people who oppose us getting involved in the Russia-Ukraine conflict on CNN and other liberal media networks. And a lot of people are very angry about that. And we're going to talk about why Mike Pence should be, steered clear of in this primary, and also how laughable Chris Christie's run is, but also how Pence and Christie affect the 2024 race, because we know that even if they may think that they're in this to win this, they don't have a chance in the world at victory. But first, I have to tell you guys about our very good friends over at Noble Gold. Now, just as King Charles III of Britain has a crown with the timeless wealth of gold, you can enrich your future with the enduring value of a gold IRA. Like those precious crowns, a gold IRA doesn't tarnish over time. It shines brighter in economic turmoil. It's a hedge against inflation, instability, and volatile markets. This month, the first solid quarter-ounce gold standard bullion coin ever issued with Charles III's image can be yours with your own qualifying gold IRA or 401k rollover of $50,000 or higher. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments. Hurry and go to noblegoldinvestments.com to secure your wealth today. noblegoldinvestments.com. So Mike Pence joining this presidential race. It's so crowded already. You have all these people in it. You have Mike Pence. You have DeSantis. You have Trump, who's the front runner, obviously. That goes without saying. You have Nikki Haley. You have Vivek Ramaswamy. You have Tim Scott. You have Asa Hutchinson. And we don't know who else we're exactly going to get. Chris Sununu was touted to potentially run. He teased a run for a while, but now he says defeating Trump is the number one priority. And he is bowing out of the race. But Mike Pence is not bowing out. He's joining in, and he's polling at 5% in the polls. And apparently Chris Christie, he's a very big guy, but he couldn't fit on the polling thing right here. I guess he's going to have to eat all of his opponents that stand in his way. The Trump team says Chris Christie will waste no time eating DeSantis' lunch, which also does kind of play into the role that he could play. Chris Christie is taking a lot of his aim at Donald Trump right now. If you don't remember, back in the day, he was kind of friendly with Trump. He endorsed him when he dropped out. He was one of the few politicians at the time who were currently in office to endorse Trump for president. He was on his advisory team leading up to the general. Trump kind of snubbed him for like a cabinet pick, and then Christie kind of turned on him, kind of faded away to irrelevancy despite being as big as he is. But now he wants to jump in the presidential race. I'm assuming it's for the free food. I don't know why else he's there. But if you remember back in the day, he exposed Marco Rubio for being a robotic politician. And when you look at that debate stage, who is the main threat to Donald Trump? He's not really a threat because he's going to lose anyways. But who is the person that actually has somewhat of a following? It's Ron DeSantis. Now, keep in mind, DeSantis, the more people get to know him, the less people really do tend to like him in terms of if they like both Trump and DeSantis, they're going to go for Trump. And if DeSantis continues the campaign trajectory that he has, where he's basically letting it be run by all of these people who virtually act no differently than the TDS-ridden liberals during Trump's presidency or the never Trump opponents back in the 2016 primary, he's going to lose even more support. He could spend all the money he wants to. He could do exactly what Jeb Bush did. He could, pay for all the seats at the debates just the way that Jeb did. It's not going to work at the end of the day. And as a result, he's just tarnishing his career and his image. And we know that. And the more people in this race, like Mike Pence, like Chris Christie, and mainly the other people, because Chris Christie's not really a threat. Mike Pence probably will be in third. Nikki Haley will be somewhat around there. And then Vivek, who is actually probably one of the more likable people in this race. I don't support him over Trump. He doesn't have a shot, but he likely is vying for a cabinet position or something. He possibly could end up being in third place at the end of the day. It really depends how DeSantis tends to either continue his downward trajectory or is his ad spending going to ramp up and will he get up towards 30% again. But either way, we don't really know. But the more people in the race, the easier the path for Trump. They might justify it by saying, oh, well, we're going to stay in for a contested convention and we'll see the delegates vote their conscience or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's very clear that the more people being in the race, they take more votes away from DeSantis. It's true that some people voting for Pence and Haley would have Trump as their second choice. More people than probably you would imagine on the surface, but like 2-1, the other challengers that are a part of like the clown car per se, they take votes away from DeSantis more so than not. And if Trump's getting like 60% in Iowa and you have all these people in the race, DeSantis is getting like not even 20, then at that point, the more people in the race helps Trump. So I'm not exactly going to sit back here and say that these people, being in the race is like a bad thing, but it's laughable. And this video is going to poke fun at them while also kind of just describing how absurd that these people are and why people should still steer clear of them in the case of Mike Pence, because Mike Pence is somebody a lot of people said back when he was in good favor with Trump personally that they wanted him to be the successor in 2024. And that was assuming that Trump would get a second term and serve those 4 years. But I was one of the people saying, no, we don't need Mike Pence because Mike Pence is one of these career politicians. There's nothing really special about him. He's not a populist, and he doesn't exactly represent the Trump interest because this is the thing. And he goes out there and he says that we need more aid to Ukraine. We need to keep signing these blank checks overseas to Ukraine. Even DeSantis in his first initial statement regarding Russia and Ukraine, it was relatively, decent. Now, of course, that was on Fox News with Tucker. When Tucker was on Fox News, then he goes to Piers Morgan, flip-flops, basically does a 180. Mike Pence, on the other hand, he just completely flat out says, no, we need to continue getting involved. Russia's our number one threat, etc., etc. But beyond that point, looking further, this is not the only statement that he's made recently that has been out of line. He goes out there and he attacks Trump for his North Korea policy, despite it being the same during his presidency, which he was supporting then. But now Mike Pence has become a never-Trump grifter, a neo-never-Trumper per se. He was a never-Trumper for much of the 2016 primary as well. And this is something a lot of people do tend to forget. But he says Republicans need to avoid the siren song of populism in the 2024 race. And it's like the only reason why we're electorally viable in the first place is because of the fact that the Republican Party has leaned more towards populism. And when they fall short, typically it's because they shy away from that. You look at 2008, 2012 elections there where Republicans put up these milquetoast candidates. They got absolutely decimated. And given demographic changes and trends from like 2000 and 2004 to now, Bush would absolutely not stand a chance, even if the Republican Party was more favorable to him. And this is what they don't understand. When it comes down to policy, the Republican Party still has a massive problem with their brand, and we know that. And that's partially why even when you put up some like populist candidate that doesn't exactly have a lot of funding, they lose to a generic Democrat, because a lot of these people in the white working class parts of the Midwest or whatever, they don't turn out for Republicans per se. They turn out for Donald Trump. And this is true. But Donald Trump changed the brand of the party. They were the elitist party, even though the elites were moving to the left culturally. And they were the party of the country clubs and the warmongers and the neocons. And obviously that was a massive problem for them. But Donald Trump came along and just flipped many key principles of the Republican Party on their heads. What he did was he supported protectionist trade policies. He supported a more non-interventionist foreign policy. And on top of that, he brought immigration and culture to the forefront more so than not, when you had a lot of the Republican Party still being open to things like amnesty. And Mike Pence says the siren song of populism is evil and it needs to go, but he would never have been vice president if it wasn't for that. And at the time, yes, he was a complimentary pick for Trump. Trump definitely got a lot of, disaffected evangelicals on board with that pick. He is a social conservative to a large extent on a lot of issues, but when it comes down to the whole populism versus, traditional uniparty globalism type of thing, he's on the wrong side, and he's always been on the wrong side. And I've said for a while that he would never be my first choice at the presidential level, and for good reason. And you could look at this right here. You look at exactly what the pre-Trump, post-Trump dichotomy was, and it's like he made the Republican Party in the long run more moral, because you had certain policies that were okay, decent in both at the time, but then you look at the realignment there, and the Republican Party has become the party. Obviously, they were always pro-life, low taxes, law and order, comparatively speaking, but they were not exactly anti-war. They were not exactly the party of the working class and Main Street. They were the party of Wall Street. But Donald Trump coming along, ironically, the New York billionaire, absolutely turned that on its head. And that's something here that Mike Pence doesn't get. It's also something that is a common theme you see in the DeSantis camp. A lot of these people use those same 2016 talking points. And if Ron DeSantis, gets antsy trying to bring down Trump and leans into that, he's going to fall out of favor even more so with Donald Trump's base, because they call people that still support Trump, oh, they're in the cult, even though they're the ones that are in their, Reagan cult, the ones that have been just shilling for the Republican establishment for so many years, time and time again. But it's like they don't understand what draws people to Donald Trump. Why are they angry with the system? And they just still, after all of these years, don't get it. They say it's not 2016 anymore, guys. Well, what has exactly changed since 2016? Because these people act the same. Donald Trump's messaging is returning to form. And now you have this clown car of all of these never-Trump Republicans. Many of them were the never-Trump Republicans back in the day, even if they eventually came around a little bit. And they're in the mix again, and you see the clown car reemerge. You see Chris Christie, you see Mike Pence, you see all these people, and that at this point does include Ron DeSantis, and they are all going down at the end of the day. They're going to go down in Iowa, down in New Hampshire, down in South Carolina, down in Nevada. Super Tuesday, that's going to be the next cope. Wait till Super Tuesday. Wait until the delegates vote their conscience at the convention. Yeah. I don't think that these campaigns are even going to get that far, but either way, this was avoidable, a divided primary field we didn't need. But I will say, now that DeSantis is in the running, all these other people being in the race, they help Donald Trump out more so than not, and I do see that as technically a good thing. So we welcome Mike Pence to the race. He'll embarrass himself and his legacy even further. We welcome Chris Christie to the race, and I'm sure he's going to be very enthusiastic at all the dinners and the buffets that he's going to be going to across the nation, Iowa, New Hampshire. I don't even think his campaign's going to make it to South Carolina, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.